In today's class, we are going to see some basic operations in Python. Okay, so the first thing when you enter this, your notebook will look like this. Okay, so at the top end, you can see that it is untitled.ipynb. IPYNB is the extension for your Python. So here, instead of untitled, you can give the heading as basic operations. Okay, so now this is your command line where you give commands. So the first command is the usage of hashtag. So when you use this hashtag, whatever you type after this, your Python cannot read it. It is just only for you to understand. Suppose if I had to add two numbers, so I just give add two numbers. So whenever you refer to this, you can see that you're doing addition of two numbers, but the system, your Python cannot read it. Okay. So now if I add 5 and 6, if I'm giving 5 plus 6. Okay, so how do I run this? I have a run button at the top. I can use that or I just give shift and enter together. So when I click shift and enter, you can see that the line runs and you get the answer 11. So this is one of the way to get your direct answer. But usually what we do is we do this addition subtraction by assigning values to variables. That is, I just assign a is equal to 5, b is equal to 6. Now what I do is, sorry, b is equal to 6. So now I add a and b. So what I do is I define another variable c and I define it as a plus. Okay. So now if you see, if I run it, I won't get any answer because I've just given the operation c is equal to a plus b. So addition is taking place. But to see the output, what you have to do is you have to click one extra line. That line is print. Okay. So now if I click shift and enter, you can see I get the answer as 11. Okay. Suppose if I want some text before that 11, suppose I want the sum of two numbers is 11. So how do I type this is again to text to, that is to enter some text, what I should do is I have to give the command print. Inside the double quotation I have to give the sum of two numbers is. Okay, now if I click shift and enter, you can see that I have the text line, the sum of two numbers. Okay, it is just to display whatever I am typing. I use the command print and inside the bracket I give double quotation and write it. Okay, so instead of using two prints here, I can use only one print and display the same thing. So what I do is I just remove this print C, but here what I do is I give a comma, then I give a C. Okay, so now if I run it, you can see that the sum of two numbers is 11. That is the value for the output. A plus B is also given. Also your text part is given. Okay, so this is how you use the command print. Okay, so now you know how to do the addition. Suppose I want to find the difference of two numbers. Okay, so I'm assigning any other two variables. Okay, for suppose I'm assigning E is equal to some 7 and F is equal to some 8. Just let us keep it, or I'll take it as 5. Okay, I'm going to find the difference. So I'm just going to define another variable. H is equal to E minus F. So in order to see the output, what my difference is, I have to print. And to have a text along with it, I just use the double quotation and write the difference of two numbers is. Okay, and then I put a comma and I have to run F. The output of my F is the difference. So I have to, sorry, output of H. Okay, so if I give this command line, and then shift enter. So I'll get the difference of two numbers is 2. That is 7 minus 5 is 2. Okay. So is it necessary I have to define or use different variables? You can see here I've used the variables A, B, C. And again I'm used the variables E, F and H. Okay. Suppose I'm defining E is equal to some 8. Okay. So now if I print E, I'm just going to print E. So you can see that the new value, that is already E was assigned with the value 7. Now latestly I've assigned the value 8 to E. So your system will automatically take the latest value. Okay, it will forget the previous value. So if you are assigning these values to the same variable, the latest defined variable's value will be considered. Okay, so this is all some basics of your Python. But when you're coming to some mathematical operation, with only the basic operations with your Python, you cannot work it. So what you do is, you just need a package where it has many operations of maths. So for that, to do some mathematical operations, we import a package from Python. So that package name is Python. So that package name is NumPy. So how do you import that packages? By using the command import NumPy. Okay. So what I do is I don't want to use NumPy. That is the whole thing. I need not want to type it again and again. So what I do is I just name it as NP. Okay. So wherever I want this NumPy, instead of typing NumPy, I just type on NP. Okay. Okay, so I'm importing NumPy as NP. Okay. So what is the use of this? I'll give you just one example, a simple example. I'm just removing this line. I'm just going to print the value of pi. I just want to know what pi is. Okay. So you can see that the name pi is not defined. So I don't have a value of pi in my Python. So what I do is now from Python, I call for the package as numpy. So I import numpy as np. So when I print it, this pi value should be called from the function np, right? From the package np. So I click this as print np dot pi. Okay, now you can see that the value of your pi is 3.1415, etc. Okay, so this is the use of your package. Okay, so now many other operations also can be done by using numpy. Okay, suppose if I want to find a maximum or minimum of a list of numbers. So what I do is, suppose my list of numbers is some 2, comma 7, comma 9, comma 11, comma 13. Okay, if I want to find the maximum of this number, so what I do is I define a variable m as np dot. So wherever I'm using the numpy, I have to put np dot. So maximum value of my. Okay, so you can shift enter, run the program, and you can check why it's not running. Is finally I have to give the command print. Okay, print n. For the execution part you want. So you can see that your maximum value is 13. Suppose I want to give a minimum value for this. Again, I have to run my advanced. Okay, so you can see that minimum of this is 2. So likewise, you can round off your values up to 2 digits, 3 digits. You can find trigonometric values. You can find many other values by using this NumPy package. So now what we are going to do is we are just going to define some matrix operation here. For that, first what we need is we have to define a matrix. So, first to define a matrix, we need to know about arrays. Okay, so your matrix should be given with the comment arrays. So for that, what I do is I just define a matrix A is equal to. So this matrix is also in your NumPy package only. For that, you have to give np dot array, and inside the bracket you have to give your. I'm just going to give one row matrix. So it is 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay. So now if I print A, what do I get? Shift and enter. So you can see that I've got the value of the matrix whichever I entered. So I've given 1, 2, 3 and I've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. Suppose if I have 2 or 3 rows, how do I define that matrix? For that, it will be like A is equal to np dot array. Okay, so I'm using a square bracket. I'm defining 1 comma 2 comma 3. Again, what I do is I give the second row 4 comma 5 comma 6, and finally the third row 7 comma 8 comma 9. So when I run this, I will get two errors. Okay, the first error I'll just run and show you here. I have some error. Okay, so here what is the mistake is you have not given a comma. So after you finish each and every row, the rows should be separated by a comma. Okay, so in run this, you can see again I'll get an error. That is when your number of rows is more than one. Okay, you have to give two square bracket, that is at the beginning and one at the end. Okay, so now if I run it, okay, so I don't get an error. So now I'm just going to see how my matrix A looks like. So that for that I have to give print. Okay, you can see how my matrix A looks like. Okay, so now I'm just going to define a matrix B. Okay, I'm just going to make a simple change instead of 6 or instead of any other number. I'm just going to change the value. Instead of 456, I've given 466. Okay, and I'm naming it as matrix. Okay, so now I'm going to check how my matrix B looks like. So it is just print. Okay. Okay, so now you can see that I have my matrix A and matrix B. So with this matrix A and matrix B, I'm just going to perform some matrix operation. I'm just going to find the addition of these two matrices. Okay, so for that I'm going to just give print np. So all this I've defined under numpy. So print np add a comma p. Okay, okay, you can see that it's been added up. Okay, so now if you want, you can assign even some variables. You can assign c is equal to print np dot add a comma b. Suppose I want to find the product of a and b. I have a matrix A, I have a matrix B. Suppose I want to do matrix multiplication with these two things. What should I do is, I'll be using the command print np np dot. So here I'm finding the matrix multiplication. So for multiplication I use the command dot. A comma. So this is used to do matrix multiplication. So now you can see after I run, I get the product of two matrices. Okay. Suppose I want to find the inverse. So what I do is print np dot inverse of A comma B. Okay, suppose I run this, I would get an error. Okay, so why I'm getting this error is, you can see that the module numpy has no attribute inverse. So it doesn't have an attribute inverse. Then how do you find the inverses? In numpy package, you have term called linear algebra. So your inverse is present inside that linear algebra. So how do you call for that function is, it is np dot, instead of linear it is lin, algebra alg. Okay, so it is lin alg dot inverse of A comma B. No, inverse is for just one matrix, either for matrix A or matrix B. I'm just going to find the inverse for matrix B. Okay. Okay, so I got the inverse of the matrix. Suppose I'm finding the inverse for matrix A. You can see that I will get an error. Okay, so what the error is, the very last line, you can see that it is a singular matrix. So what does a singular matrix mean is, while you're finding the inverse, the formula to find your inverse is 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. So when your determinant is becoming 0, we call that as a singular matrix. Okay, we'll check with this. So how do you find the determinant is print np dot determinant of A. We'll just run and see. Okay, so determinant is also not in your numpy, so it is under linear algebra. Okay, so you can see that the determinant value is 0. So when your determinant value is 0, that is in your inverse, your denominator 0 means you'll get that as your determinant is 0 means it is called as a singular matrix. So the whole term will become undefined. So that only you get an error. Okay, there is no wrong with your command line. It is only because of your matrix. The determinant of the matrix is becoming 0. Okay, so these and all are some basic operations that you have to know in Python before you start with your programs. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.